Good to have you with us. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. We begin this morning with day 3 of the Democratic National Convention getting underway today in Chicago. And Vice President Harris's running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, he is set to take center stage. Walz will be the convention headliner tonight, where he will formally accept the vice presidential Democratic nomination. The military veteran and former congressman was selected by Miss Harris as her VP pick just 2 weeks ago. Last night, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz took part in a campaign rally in Milwaukee, in the same city and actually the same venue where Republicans held their convention last month.
Their appearance in Milwaukee was actually timed, so they came out at the very end of the ceremonial roll call of the states in Chicago. Later, Democrats heard from Ms. Harris's husband, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Night 2 was headlined by former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. Here are some of the highlights.
Wherever she's needed, however she's needed, Kamala rises to the occasion. And she did it for me and our family. And now that the country needs her, she's showing you what we already know. She's ready to lead.
Kamala has shown her allegiance to this nation, not by spewing anger and bitterness, but by living a life of service and always pushing the doors of opportunity open to others. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
History will remember Joe Biden as an outstanding president who defended democracy at a moment of great danger. And I am proud to call him my president, but I am even prouder to call him my friend. Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together? One thing is for certain, Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question.
NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez is in Chicago covering the convention and joins us with the latest. Gabe, good morning. It was another jam-packed night on the convention stage. The Obamas returning to their hometown really to fire up Democrats. What were some of the key takeaways?
Well, hi there, Joe. Good morning. Well, the crowd here was electrified, as you mentioned. Virtually no one left this arena before former President Obama was done speaking. But many people here say the highlight of the night was Michelle Obama's speech. And it was a speech really looking forward. She barely mentioned President Biden at all. Former President Obama did talk about President Biden. But let's take a listen to more of what he had to say.
He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border, because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign. Do not boo. Vote. America's ready for a new chapter. America's ready for a better story. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
And there you heard former President Obama really making the case against former President Trump. Again, the reaction here in the arena was just incredible to watch.
Gabe, we also heard from former Trump White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham. She was open in disavowing her former boss. She voiced her support for Vice President Harris, told us some things from behind closed doors in the Trump White House. Tell us what she had to say.
Yeah, it was really remarkable to see the former Trump press secretary here addressing Democrats. Let's listen to some of what she told the audience.
I saw him when the cameras were off. Behind closed doors, Trump mocks his supporters. He calls them basement dwellers. On a hospital visit one time when people were dying in the ICU, he was mad that the cameras were not watching him.
She also said that the breaking point for her was the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Joe and Savannah.
Gabe, tonight, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will address the convention. What do we expect to hear from him and anyone else big hitting the stage?
Yeah, that's right. Well, former President Clinton is expected to speak tonight, as is former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. But yes, as you said, Governor Tim Walz taking center stage today. And the goal for him will be to introduce himself to the country, as he's done for the last several weeks since becoming Kamala Harris's running mate. We expect him to focus on his history, 24 years in the Army National Guard, and to talk about his experience as a high school football coach. But again, Governor Tim Walz taking the stage today ahead of his running mate, Kamala Harris, here tomorrow.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez in Chicago. Gabe, thank you so much.
Let's stay on this and bring in NBC News senior national politics reporter Jonathan Allen. John, good morning. We first got to start by talking a little bit more about former First Lady Michelle Obama addressing the convention last night. First, let's listen to more of what she said.
It's up to us to remember what Kamala's mother told her. Don't just sit around and complain. Do something. So if they lie about her, and they will, we've got to do something. If we see a bad poll, and we will, we got to put down that phone and do something. If we start feeling tired, if we start feeling that dread creeping back in, we got to pick ourselves up, throw water on our face, and what?
You very smartly pointed out in a new piece last night comparisons between her remarks last night and when she addressed the DNC back in 2016. Kind of a vibe shift here. What's standing out to you?
Yeah, good morning, Savannah. Good morning, Joe. What stands out to me is that in 2016, Michelle Obama said to the Democratic National Convention audience, when they go low, we go high. That was then, Savannah. Now she was making the case for Kamala Harris, whose slogan is "When we fight, we win." Very different than that appeal to the sort of urbane approach to politics. And I think, Michelle Obama tried to bridge that gap. She said, "Don't be petty." Of course, as she was saying that, she was saying Donald Trump is petty. But she told Democrats they should have higher aspirations. So there was sort of a callback to that 2016 mantra, and yet at the same time, here she was. Delivering some tough blows to Donald Trump, including saying that he might be surprised to find out that job he seeks is one of those quote-unquote black jobs that he has been talking about.
John, we heard just a moment ago from former Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham openly discussing her time with her former boss, Mr. Trump. It wasn't just her. I mean, late last night, we heard from the Republican mayor of Mesa, Arizona, who said he felt more at home at the DNC. What's the strategy here with Grisham and others like her?
I think they're trying to provide a model, or a couple of models at least, for Republicans, Republican-leaning independents who are fed up with Donald Trump, but don't consider themselves Democrats, to cross the aisle, to cross that partisan divide and vote for Kamala Harris. And so here you have two examples right there, and we know of others. Of Republicans who have basically said, to heck with Donald Trump, a pox on his house, and, that they're going to join the Democrats.
Finally, let's talk about what we are going to see later tonight. Running mate Tim Walz, he is scheduled to address the convention. What are you looking to hear from him?
I mean, I think this is really his big moment, his big introduction. We've seen him, of course, on the campaign trail a little bit, but millions of Americans won't have paid that much attention to that. And we'll be watching this convention speech tonight. And, I think there are a couple of things. Number one, does he instill confidence in the public that he could take over the job day one if necessary, if something were to happen to President Harris? And I think, number two, I'll be watching to see how well he makes the case for her. I mean, that's essentially the job of the vice presidential candidate. And one last thing, of course, number three, how he hits Donald Trump.
John, as always, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Great reporting.
Today, believe it or not, marks exactly 1 month since President Biden dropped out of the race after losing support among Democrats, including young voters. NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster visited Battleground, Wisconsin, and spoke with those young voters to see if the past month has changed their minds.
President Biden out.
Pass the torch to a new generation.
Vice President Harris in.
We are
joyful warriors.
And trying to rebuild support from a key part of the Democratic coalition.
President Biden is getting big warning signs.
Back in December, as polls showed Biden's support from young voters crashing, we traveled to Dane County in battleground Wisconsin and learned the war in Gaza was a big part of the reason why.
He is allowing this war to happen and is funding this war.
I think after October 7th, the question became a matter of human rights.
Do you plan on voting for him this time around?
No, not anymore.
Since then, a lot has changed.
Yeah.
With Biden off the ticket, we asked those same voters where they stand now.
Right now, I'm leaning towards voting for Kamala Harris, but there's many months to go.
I want to vote for Kamala, but that depends on her policy change in terms of Gaza.
They're part of a big shift. Back in June, Biden led Trump by just 6 percentage points among voters under 30 nationwide. By late July, Harris's lead had grown to 18 points.
You told me you were considering voting third party in this election when we last spoke. How are you feeling now?
I'm kind of up in the air. I'm really a bit torn. I also want to vote for Kamala here because I live in a swing state and would really like to avoid another Trump presidency.
What Harris says about Gaza, these voters say, will be key.
Talking about an issue in a more empathetic way, for example, makes a big difference for a lot of people.
You feel like Harris is doing that in the way that
Biden has literally not been able to.
I'm much more excited about the candidate now than I was about Biden.
An opportunity with young voters that comes with a warning.
That can change really quickly. It's a two-way street.
Shaquille Brewster, NBC News, Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, the economy is another hot-button issue on Americans' minds ahead of the election. The big picture suggests inflation has gone down in the last couple of years under the Biden administration. But NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo spoke to some potential voters in Pennsylvania who feel like their grocery bills are telling a different story.
You know, the World Bank is saying that the American economy is exceptional. What do you think about that?
That would be news to me because it is not exceptional in my tax bracket. I know that.
For Dina Wright, a small business owner and mother of a 16-year-old in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, a trip to the grocery store tells her all she needs to know about the economy.
Prices are expensive.
Wright gets help from the Warminster Food Bank, where Mike Serino is the director.
When I took over April of 2020, we had 400 families. Right now, today, we're doing 3,000. That's a 7.5 times increase.
The Biden administration has been quick to point out real gains in the economy.
Wages up, inflation down, way down, and continuing to go down.
And Biden isn't wrong. Inflation has improved significantly from its high of 9% in 2022 to 2.9% in July. Despite big picture economic improvement, there's a disconnect for Americans like Wright. Pew polling shows nearly 2/3 think inflation is a big problem. Why are people, despite all of this, still feeling so stretched?
Their incomes have not increased much. And at the same time, they have to face very steep increases over the last 4 years.
The real purchasing power of wages has only grown about 1% in the last 4 years, which is what we typically saw in a single year pre-pandemic. This could contribute to a sense of just keeping up instead of thriving for many Americans.
We economists tend to see things from now on, how things are going to be in the future.
So while economists might have a positive outlook based on trends and data, the average American is relying on how affordable necessities are right now. Food prices increased about 20% over the past 4 years, which is about what they increased over the decade prior. Low-income households that spend about 1/3 of their income on food are going to feel the price increases more than high-income households that spend just 8%. It's something Serino sees at his food bank.
If they miss one paycheck, they have to make an unconscionable choice between your utilities and food, between gas and food.
Leaving families like Wright's to make some hard choices.
Yeah, it's difficult just to get by with your basic needs.
Stephen Romo, NBC News.
We will have much more politics, much more from the Democratic National Convention throughout the day here on NBC News Now. Our extensive live coverage is going to get underway at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll have primetime coverage on NBC News Now and NBC starting at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Time now for weather. The summer heat continues to spread across the south this morning.
We have Angie Lassman here with the latest on the possible record-breaking temperatures. Angie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. We've also got some chilly temperatures to talk about. I don't know if you've noticed, but it feels a little cool around these parts, and here's why. We're stuck in this kind of weather pattern that's going to be slow-moving, so we're not going to see a lot of changes as far as where that heat is confined. Notice most of it is across parts of the southern plains, but we will see that kind of expand, that heat dome, into the plains here as we get into tomorrow. Notice what happens for the northeast. We'll kind of start to moderate out across the Midwest too, but off to the west, that's where temperatures will be a little cooler than average as we have a deepening storm that's going to work into the Pacific Northwest by the weekend. In the meantime, here's what you have to look forward to over the next couple of days. It feels like fall essentially in some of these spots. We're waking up to some 40s, some 50s on the cooler side for this time of year for sure, even though we are getting into late August and starting to kind of transition into fall pretty soon here. But temperatures will only top out into the low 70s for Pittsburgh by Wednesday. Notice New York City today, 74 degrees. A little warmer tomorrow on Thursday into the upper 70s, but really only into those low 80s by Friday. If you're looking for more of that kind of summertime weather, you'll get that in place across parts of the Great Lakes. Same kind of pattern as well. Now, the South, a different story. You might notice I mentioned that heat dome. It shows how it's going to stick around over the next few days. San Antonio, 107 today, 104 by Thursday. We really only kind of dip into the upper 90s for most of these locations here as we get even through the end of our work week. Triple digits for Houston Wednesday and Thursday. We see the high 90s Wednesday and Thursday in Dallas, and even the triple digits across the board for Amarillo over the next couple of days. This is going to stick with us. Those cooler conditions and even a little bit of mountain snow is possible by the weekend here. As we look out west, it'll remain unseasonably cool for folks there, so we'll have to watch for that. In the meantime, great conditions across most of the east. We have a couple of severe storms that we'll track across parts of the Rockies and maybe some interior areas of New England dealing with some rain. But otherwise, it's Florida where we'll have still that unsettled kind of pattern with the stationary front sticking around. It's kind of draped across the northern parts of the peninsula, and that means that there's the potential for some flash flooding today, guys, and potentially tomorrow, too.
It's that time of year where you have triple-digit temperatures and the potential for mountain snow.
And you just don't know what to wear.
Exactly.
That's where I'm at.
Except for up here, it's a great day.
Today.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks,
Thank you,
Angie.
Angie.
Well, climate change and rising temperatures are leaving people who work outside especially vulnerable to the heat.
We want to show you some video of a UPS driver who passed out at the wheel near Dallas before crashing his truck into a tree. Now, the drivers' union says that he was suffering from heat exhaustion and is now recovering. But as NBC News correspondent Jesse Kerr shows us, new artificial intelligence technology could help keep workers safe.
Less than 3 hours into the workday, Rogelio Baltazar is already soaking through his shirt. It's almost 90 degrees before 9 a.m.
It's just like you're in a big oven.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, you really just praying to go home.
On this fern farm north of Orlando where Baltazar clears the brush, it doesn't even take that long for the heat to become dangerous.
Some research shows on an average workday, almost half of these workers will see their core body temperature climb to dangerously high levels before noon. Is there any way they are replacing enough of the fluids in their body with how much they're sweating?
No. And in fact, what we have found in our studies is that by the end of the workday, 81% of them are dehydrated. Hola!
Emory University researcher Roxana Chicas says for especially vulnerable farm workers, these conditions can cause chronic kidney issues and even kidney failure. When heat stroke happens, body temperature can rise to 106 degrees in just minutes.
For these workers who have limited access to health care, many do not have health insurance, it's a death sentence.
To save lives, Emory and Georgia Tech developed these experimental biopatches. With data from the patches, Chicas' team is developing an artificial intelligence model that will predict heat illness.
The idea that you can prevent someone from getting sick, that you can prevent people from becoming patients. This is what this technology offers.
With climate change and rising temperatures, heat-related deaths are spiking. More than 2,300 in the U.S. last year alone.
Participant 145.
Chicas is focused on particularly vulnerable farm workers. Antonia Hernandez and her daughter are part of the research project in Florida.
She said that physically it's really hard to work out in the field because sometimes you just want to sit down. But then you remember you have debt, you have children, so they just have to keep going and going.
Their work exhausting and dangerous, with researchers hoping AI can soon be life-saving. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News, Pearson, Florida.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.